Okay, good morning. Sorry about that. I'm having a challenge getting into my Zoom. I'm not going to be able to be with you this morning. Let's just make sure that we've got Rebbetzin. Thank you for being with us. I just wanted to get in to say good morning, and hopefully I'll get there befitable contributions from last week. And Hashem, we should just continue, and we should just have good news. And I'm going to try and come in between. But thank you so much. And,
just one second before you go. I want to say something before you go, okay? So, 1 second. I don't know how that happened again. Okay. 1 second. I just want to tell you that I have to tell you a few things, but the thing I need to tell you when you're on is tell me about all that money that came in. Who do I thank?
You just send it out. I'll send you a message and tell you, but yeah, it was amazing.
Right. But okay, send me a message. I know some people I'm not allowed to mention their names.
Yeah.
So, okay. The people I'm allowed to mention their names, am I allowed to mention their names?
I'll have to ask. I didn't really ask.
Okay. I'll just tell you before you go, I just want to tell you two quick things. First of all, it was amazing. The lady, you wanted to give her a massage, but the fact that you gave her all that money, like 10 wrinkles went off of her face because she was not worried because she was able to have enough to feed. That's number one. Number two, I just came back from the funeral of little Rose. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but now you have to go. So you go and then I'll start.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. And lovely just to be here for a few minutes.
Okay. Good luck wherever you're going, whatever you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, ladies. So I just wanted to catch Rebbetzin before she left, but I'll tell you more. So you know that on Monday, a beautiful little soldier was killed. And she was killed in the old city. She was on guard duty. And some evil child, actually a 16-year-old, that's what they say, murdered her. And she clung to life for a little bit, and then she passed. And so she's from Atlanta, Georgia, she's from America. And 1 second, who's hosting this? Because she forgot to mute everybody. Please mute yourself. Everybody has to mute yourself, please. Yeah? Shoshana, you have to mute yourself, and Golda, Juliet, you have to mute yourself. Whoever comes on has to mute herself. She didn't make me a co-host, so Shoshana, you still have to do that. Because we hear background.
How do I do this?
Look for where it says mute on your...
Yeah, I know. I'm looking for that mute. It looks for filters.
If you look for the picture of a microphone and just click on it, it will mute you.
Okay, I'll try my best. Sorry to keep you ladies.
Okay.
I can't find anything.
Keep looking.
Now you've gone. Now you're completely gone now. Okay.
I'm going to go back on. 1 second. Okay. So the family, this is a girl who came to Israel, made Aliyah on her own. Family lives in America, and all of her, and so she had an adopted family here, 2 adopted families actually. And so her family didn't know if anyone would come to the funeral. So she's buried right here in Har Herzl, which is a cemetery for soldiers, and which is very close by. So I ran over to the funeral this morning, and half of Har Nof was there. And there were thousands of people there. I can't tell you how emotional it was to be with every type of Jew possible was there. Everybody was there. I saw dreadlocks, and then I saw payas. Dreadlocks in the back and payas, and it's just a good feeling. It's a good feeling when you're with Amcha, when you're with other Jews. And So the hashgacha is that this girl who was killed, who I don't know her, but one of the classes that we give on Zoom, one of her friends was on that class, and she said, please go to the funeral. She was telling us about how beautiful and how lichtig and light she was and how she loved life. You know, some people, their neshama knows that they're here for a very specific reason. And because of that, they just radiate light and holiness and happiness. And oftentimes they leave this world early, young, because they came to this world to do a specific function. And this girl said about herself that her biggest joy in the world is to guard the old city so that people could come and daven. And that's what she was struck down. So if you could figure out how to mute yourself, and if you can't figure it out, then just don't move. Don't make any noise. So here we are, Baruch Hashem, a week later, we survived the week. Hashem allowed us all to survive the week. And thank you again so much for the donations that you've given, for the food for the soldiers. And now I'm going to nudge you for the next thing. So I don't know if I've told you this, but one second. So there are people here who are traumatized. This is the longest war that we've been through so far, since 1948. And looks like there's no end in sight. We don't see the end. We see that this is the beginning. Really, anybody who has a head on their shoulders is seeing that this is the beginning of the, of the next stage of redemption. Really, this is all about redemption. And all the prophecies predict that this would happen. If you read this morning's, I forgot which Jewish newscast talked about this, that they interviewed Hamas, Yimach Shemam, some of the spokesmen. And the spokesman said that this is not, he was very honest. And I was shocked at his honesty. He said, this is not about fixing Palestinian rights or improving Palestinian life. He said, this is all about eradicating the state of Israel. And this is a Hamas spokesman. So any of those people who think that supporting Hamas is about supporting, poor Palestinians, this guy just blew their bubble, burst their bubble. He said, Hamas said, this is not about improving the life of Palestinians. Hamas feels that the UN is supposed to improve the life of the Palestinians, and their job is to eradicate Israel. Interesting, but that's what they're saying. Unashamedly. They're not ashamed to say that. So, and they said they're going to fight, keep going until, till the end. So what I hear what a Jew hears with Mashiach ears is that, and this is what he said. He says, they decided that things were too complacent here and that the state of Middle East was too calm, and that Nebuch, their desire to wipe out the state of Israel, was being pushed to the side in lieu of peace treaties with all these different Abraham Accords peace treaties. So they decided that they're going to be the powder keg to light up the region and to make it change forever. So what I hear is, Hashem just announced to us that the final war, is beginning. And in this final war, Israel is safe and protected. So that's what they announced. So I think that that's for us a very good news. And everybody has to make their own plans of how to get here, where, when. But Baruch Hashem, most of you have children here or friends here, and there's plenty of hotels here. And I'll tell you something so now what the newest thing is, that the people in Ashdod and Ashkelon who've been under, they get every day, several times they get sirens. And so some of them just can't handle it anymore. And they came somebody did this. I don't know how whoever coordinates these things is huge. Some real estate guy in Ramat Beit Shemesh who sold a lot of apartments. Some of them are finished and some of them are still under construction. He sold to maybe you guys. He sold to chutznikim, to people who live in areas outside of the land of Israel, and they bought it for when they have to come here. They bought it as an investment and when they have to come. But these are apartments that are empty because the people there, the people who own them, didn't want to rent them. They're empty. And so some initiative took 150 families from all over the South and brought them to apartments in Ramat Beit Shemesh. The apartment is quiet and clean and nice and empty. So they have to get them refrigerators, and they have to get them hot plates, they have to get them stuff. Some of the people are so traumatized that they don't even want to go back to their own homes to get their clothes. They're too, trauma is one of those unexplainable things. To a person who doesn't know what trauma is, and we shouldn't know what trauma is. No one understands when a fear grips a person, when anxiety and fear and trepidation grips a person, they lose all their sense of proportion and logic. So some people they just ran out of their house and they said, get me out of here. And they didn't take things with them. So they have to go back and get moving trucks. And so the whole Ramat Beit Shemesh is now turned into one big gigantic Hachnasas Orchim city. And there's a little boy having a bar mitzvah, and they need money for his bar mitzvah. A single mother with 10 children, another single mother with 6 children needed glasses. Her glasses she had headaches and she couldn't take it, and she went to the doctor and he said she must get glasses ASAP, and so we paid for the glasses. And there are a lot of charity opportunities, ladies, lots of charity opportunities. And this, Chazal tell us that giving charity to Eretz Yisrael is actually Eretz Yisrael's gift to you. Meaning, if you're not living here, and if you don't have a property here, how are you going to have a portion here? How are you going to have where to run to? But if you give tzedakah, you give charity to Eretz Yisrael, especially during these times, and you give it to people who are not, there's no overhead here at all. There's just ladies who are going from money to store to the family, no overhead at all. So you have a portion here in Israel by giving tzedakah to Eretz Yisrael. Dafkas now, you have a chelik, a portion in the land of Israel, and that will save you if you need that. You need to be saved, it'll save you. So you're doing yourself the biggest favor by giving tzedakah to Eretz Yisrael, and I am very happy to be your secretary and distributor of tzedakah. And so, Baruch Hashem, I have now 2 organizations that I'm in charge, that I'm collecting for. One is for food, and one is for Beit Shemesh, the families in Beit Shemesh.
Rebbetzin Silber, could I ask you something?
You could.
I've got cousins in the north who've all been evacuated from their kibbutz, and it's been a month now, and they're all having to pay for their accommodation. And some of them are really struggling. They need baby milk, they need all kinds of things, and the government is not forthcoming. Is there any way that I can?
Absolutely. You can give them, first of all, if you want to send money to me, and I'll get the money. If you want to, I'm trying to get a hold of this guy, Shai Gausher, who's running all over the country trying to help people, and I have no idea how to get his number. If anybody has his number, you can send it to me, and
I can help you, Rebbetzin. I can help you.
So call me with that. Listen, that's how we have a Jewish army of women.
If anybody can help me, if you could be in touch with me later, that would be really helpful. Thank you so much. Talk to me again this morning.
Okay, you have to be in touch with me. So you be in touch with me, and we'll see what we can do. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And again, anybody who needs, we're all have been recruited to this interesting army of, we're just a bunch of people trying to help, and it's just an amazing thing. It's just an amazing thing. Today at this funeral, so I was walking out, I had to come back to this class. I was going to stay later, but I had to make sure I got back to you guys. So I'm walking with this woman, we don't look the same. And she tripped and I caught her and I gave her a hug and she gave me a hug and we cried together. We don't look the same we don't look the same. No, don't give up, Lisa. You can email me and you can WhatsApp me. Here's my email, KOLRENA@gmail.com. Kolrena, KOLRENA@gmail.com. Yeah, you can get my number from Rebbetzin Dove. And then you can WhatsApp me. Anything that you do, just have patience. Yeah, there you go, Shalom. No, RENA, not RINA, RENA. KOLRENA, or just WhatsApp me. WhatsApp is easier for me. And then we'll see. We have to gather money, then we have to get the money to these people. It's easy when I'm in Israel, it's easy because I have an Israeli bank account. No, I have an Israeli bank account. You send me money any way that you can, and I'll get it to them. I'll transfer to their bank account. It's very easy for me to do that. And if you want me to lay out the money for you, and you have people coming next week and they need the money now, you can do that also. We're all banks now. We're all doing all of these things now. Okay. So I was telling you about this lady. So there was, at the funeral, there were thousands of people there. And it's hot today. It's a hot day. And so the people there was a table of 3 people who just came out of nowhere. And they brought water and soda and cups and coffee, cookies. But they set themselves up in the wrong spot. When you come out of a funeral, you have to first wash your hands. And then the food is usually after the hand washing section. But these people, maybe they didn't realize that they set their table up before the hand washing station. And this lady who was walking with me, she needed a drink of water. So I didn't say anything to her. And she wanted me to take a drink. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't wash my hands yet. So then she remembered, oh yeah, you're supposed to wash your hands. Okay. So I said, I don't want to wash my hands with the drinking water because these people paid for water to give people to drink. So she said, no. The lady heard me say that and she said, no, take the water, do whatever you want with it. Wash your hands, drink it, whatever you want. Where are you from? Montreal, living in Mevaseret, here for many, many years. In a second, everybody becomes united. And that's what Hashem loves. He adores it. Okay, we're in Perek Peites 89. We're in Perek Peites 89. And I don't remember where we stopped. So anybody want to tell me what pasuk we stopped at? We just did the very beginning, right?
I think we just finished Gimel.
Gimel, that's what I think also. Right, good, thank you.
Sorry, Rebbetzin, can you just repeat again what Perek?
Peitet 89.
Oh, Peitet. Okay, thank you.
Okay. This is why these next 2 psukim are why I wanted to talk about this Perek. Because we want Mashiach to come. And here David Hamelech is telling us that Hashem swore to him that Mashiach would come. So here goes. And we're going to figure out in a second how this works in with the author of this Perek. Karati Brit Libchiri, says the Tehillim. Hashem says, he's quoting Hashem. And he says, I swore, I made a covenant, I made a contract with my chosen one. Nishbati, and I swore LeDavid Abdi, to my servant David. Now here, if you remember, we said in the very beginning that this was a maskil. This maskil was written by Eitana Ezrachi, some person called Eitana Ezrachi. We don't know who he is. He does not appear in Tanakh. And so the Midrashim tell us that this is Avram Avinu, who is the strong one who came from the Mizrach, and who was the first Ezrach, and Ezrach is a citizen of Eretz Yisrael. So how could Avram Avinu talk about David HaMelech, who wouldn't live for 1,000 and something years? So that's how we see what Tehillim is all about. Tehillim is, parts of it were initiated and parts of the chapters were begun by certain tzaddikim, and then David HaMelech, as you see, he edits and he puts in words and he reminds us. So here he's quoting Hashem. He's quoting the Navi, Nasan HaNavi, told this to David HaMelech. He says, Hashem swore to you that you will be the Mashiach and that your generations, your descendants will be will fix the whole world. I swore this to you and I chose you. Libechiri means I chose you. Now, what's a choice? There's a difference between a choice and an election, right? An election, everybody elects, even though nowadays elections are also meaningless, but a choice is, I just want you, and I don't have to give you any reasons for it. A choice is midas harachamim. It's not midas hadin. Midas hadin is, I'm going to make, the attribute of justice says, I'm going to list all of your merit, I'm going to list all of your good qualities, and because of all of these good qualities, I'm choosing you to be king. That was the first king, Shaul Hamelech. King Saul, Hashem said about him, he's a perfect tzaddik. He's head and shoulders above anyone in the generation. And because of that, Hashem said, I'm choosing him to be the first king. But because Shaul HaMelech was a tzaddik, and the area of tzaddik is oftentimes interconnected with midas hadin, because the tzaddik wants everything to be perfect. So the midas hadin was strong against Shaul HaMelech, and when he messed up, the midas hadin, the attribute of justice, was that force. It's not a force. It's not different. It's Hashem. Hashem's midas hadin said to Shaul HaMelech, Hashem, in the language of midat hadin, Hashem said to Shaul HaMelech, you can't be king forever and ever. You didn't, because I chose you in a certain way, which was according to din, then according to din, you just lost the inherited Malchus until Mashiach ben Yosef comes back, because Mashiach ben Yosef is descendant of King Shaul, and he'll work together with Mashiach ben David, Be'ezrat Hashem. So then when David HaMelech was chosen, he wasn't chosen because, he wasn't by Midas Hadin at all. David HaMelech, according to Midas Hadin, was scary looking. Remember that Shaul HaMelech, Shmuel HaNavi, when he saw him, he got scared, because Midas Hadin would have rejected David HaMelech. But Midas HaRachamim, or Midas HaMalchus really, is how Hashem chose David HaMelech. And he chose him, so that's what it means, Bechir. Bechir means it's a choice, and the choice doesn't depend on reasons, doesn't depend on things. And now the continuation. These two psukim are the good news for the Jews today. Ad olam achin zarecha. Forever and ever. Ad olam means for eternity. Forever and ever. Achin, I am preparing, or I'm building up zarecha, your family. Ubaniti lidor bador kisachas sela, and absolutely I've been creating your throne, your eternal throne, David, and your descendants forever and ever. What does that mean? And so you know that David HaMelech says in the Gemara had 400 children. Now, does that mean 400? Does it mean a large amount? The Gemara, when the Gemara talks about the number, usually 400 or 300, it's generally an exaggeration. David HaMelech had a lot of kids, and we have a teaching that all of his descendants were murdered except for one child who survived, and from that one child, and that child was hidden in the Beis Hamikdash, and from that one child rebuilt the whole house of David, of King David. So Hashem said, I'm making sure I'm protecting your genealogy. That there's always going to be descendants of David Melech. Now we have a lot of descendants of David Melech. Anybody who's descended from Rashi, or from the Maharal, or from the Tosfos Yantif, who I'm descended from, any of those or from the Baal Shem HaKadosh, some say, is all coming, has a relation to David Hamelech, is descended from at a certain point. So we have a lot of them now, but at a certain point, almost all of them were wiped out. And Hashem said, but I'm swearing to you, because only Hashem can do this. I'm swearing to you that your seed will continue and eventually will become king over the world. Now, what's King David going to do when he becomes king over the world? And we hope that happens now. We do not know how much Hashem's going to fast forward this process. We're in the process now where it looks like there's going to be major stuff going on. Everyone is threatening everyone, and it's like a chess game. This one's jogging for power, and this one's putting themselves. And we know the medrash that says that China is going to get involved. A country from the other end of the world is going to get involved, and we're just watching all of this, and we know that Hashem, the Navi says that negative prophecies do not have to come true. Positive, optimistic, happy prophecies do have to come true. We hold Hashem to that. But negative prophecies, Hashem is allowed to change and make them something else. And so we don't, and now we have such a concept called fast forward. Every single thing that's invented in technology has a spiritual root and has a spiritual message. So the fact that I'm able to, that we're able to learn, I'm here in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, and you're in the UK, and you're in the South Africa, and you're in RBS. And the fact that we can do that, and we can learn on these devices, it's a fabulous chesed, but it's also a very big teaching in spirituality. Anytime you come upon any kind of a teaching, any kind of a invention or any kind of a concept that exists in the world, you have to look to see the root of it. When I got my first computer decades and decades ago, like 30 years ago, so I wrote a whole Dvar Torah. I have it someplace. I was so amazed at the technology, and that was 30 years ago, and it was so. Now it's like archaic. But the fact that you could delete, and the fact that you can send all over to the world, and the fact that you could expand it and contract it, and there was a word processor in the computer that could help you with the spelling, all of those things. My mom wrote a whole Dvar Torah on it. So the fact that we have fast forward means, and we have that we have something called Kfitzat HaDerech. It's in this week's parsha, where Hashem fast forwarded when Eliezer went to get Rivka to make a wedding she should be the wife of Yitzchak Avinu. So he had Kfitzat HaDerech. Hashem said, okay, right now you're in Israel. You need to get all the way up to Iraq and back by the next day, right? So I'll make that happen. And they didn't have, today I don't think you can do it except with a plane. You couldn't do that. Even a train, maybe a high-speed train. So Eliezer had Kfitzat HaDerech. There's such a thing called Kfitzat HaZman. That's what we're working on. We would like to have Kfitzat HaZman, that everything should happen quickly, and and Hashem should skip over the stops on the train that we're in. We're in the Geula train. Hashem should stop over those pass through those stations that have negative energy in them. You know how it is, and you have trains over there in the UK. So in America, you have an express train and a local train. The local train, every stop, you stop at every stop, and people get on and get off. But the express train goes from the big train station all the way to the next train station. The big one to the big one, and it stops. So all the little local stops in the middle, it doesn't stop there. It goes in the middle track and zooms past them. That's what we would like. That's what we're davening for. We don't want to have more schlepped out wars and losses and all of that. So Hashem swore to us. That's why I want to learn with this pasuk. Karasi brisli, I swore to you, ad olam achin zarecha. I'm preparing your children forever and ever. Uvaniti, and Hashem says, I'm building your throne. This is what I was going to say. So what's David Hamelech when he comes? What's he going to do? What kind of a throne does that mean? What does that mean to us? Chazal tell us, and this is what we're supposed to be focusing on every single day. Ladies, if you could do this, everything is kedai. Everything is worth it. Just keep saying all day long, Hashem, I want you to be the king. I want your kingship to be in the world. I want your kingdom and worshiping you and acknowledging you, not acknowledging the guy you have over there on your throne with the big fur hat and whatever he puts on, and not acknowledging any of the world leaders. Only Hashem is Malchus. And right now, the prayer that we're saying is, we want to avoid Chil Hashem. It's a Chil Hashem. It's a desecration of God's name that we're going through wars now, right? And it's a desecration of Hashem's name that we're not living our life here in the land according to Torah. It's a Chil Hashem. Now, you know what? There's so much teshuva going on now. So much teshuva going on now. I already heard two clips, two clips of former leftists, big mouth leftists, who are now big mouth anti-leftists. You know, some people are big mouths, they talk a lot. They like to talk, and they're good communicators, and they're very opinionated, and they have a platform, and they have how many, I don't know, followers and all of that. So there's a woman and a man, and both of them had an incredible, two separate, I don't know who knows who in that world, and they both had the same message, and that is, they were lied to. They were lied to by the whole leftist camp, and they were instructed, and they were taught to hate the religious people and to hate the Torah and to say that believing in God, Chas v'shalom, is primitive. This is how they were educated, and now they're furious because they see who's bringing them food, the religious people, who's fighting side by side, who's saving their lives, the religious people. So they can't handle the lies that they were exposed to. And now slowly, we hope that all of the lies that people have been fed and the attitudes that people have been having, people will wake up. I hope people will slowly wake up. That's going to be the Malchus of Hashem. When Hashem is a Melech, and you ask tzaddikim, now the tzaddikim are so busy praying, but I don't think that they have too much time to do individual, consultations. But when the tzaddikim are ready, when Mashiach is already here, he's going to be the Melech. And the Sanhedrin, we're going to have the Sanhedrin, the High Court, and they will teach us how to live. They'll teach us what is Hashem's da'as. What is the true way of thinking? What's da'as Torah? What is the way the Torah wants you to think? Does the Torah want you to be, let's say, for example, right now, everybody knows that we're in this matzav here in Eretz Yisrael. And, we hope it doesn't spread. And we hope it doesn't spread to the Chutz La'aretz. We don't know. But one of my students called me up. She has two boys in the army. And but they're in computers, so they're not in conflict. They're not in. A few of you know who I'm talking about. And she listens to the shir. Later on, she'll listen. So she said to me something remarkable. She said, anytime she's she feels good, she feels guilty. Anytime she smiles, she feels guilty. Like, how am I supposed to conduct myself in this time? Are we supposed to go shopping? Are we supposed to eat and drink and be merry? And there's halachas for that. There's halachas of what you do in a time of tzara. Eight tzara hiliyako. When we met Yivashaya, it's true, it's a time of difficulty for us and for all over the Jewish people all over the world, because anti-Semitism and all the evil is coming out of its hiding spots. Every time each of us has a little bit of tshuva, a thought of tshuva, we eradicate another negative person. We don't eradicate the person, we eradicate his negativity. How do you think, listen, ladies, let's learn a little bit of deep Torah. How does the world exist? Everything is because of the Jewish people. So when Hashem is really, really desperate for us to do teshuvah, then he takes anti-Semitism out of his box, and he lets it run loose. How does one combat anti-Semitism? Not by talking, but by internal work. Each one of us, as we refine another character trait, each one of us as we forgive another person, as we have more patience for the people who are annoying in our life and who are demanding. Every time we refine ourselves and we upgrade ourselves, we're literally taking the life force out of the anti-Semite. It's not that we're killing him. Some people have to be killed. Hamelech has to be killed, and Hashem is taking care of that for us. But what gives them these crazy anti-Semitic thoughts? It's because Hashem wants us to do tshuva. It's a very, very annoying concept that I just said, because it really puts the responsibility back to us. But every time you have somebody annoying you or whatever, that you have to give more money, and you have to give more money. And now on this thing, we have 3 people who want to have, I'm collecting for this and I'm collecting for that, and everybody's collecting, you don't know where to give. And by the way, what's the shaila? If you don't know where to give, let's say you have 30 pounds. That's your money, right? Pounds. Let's say you have 30 pounds sterling, and you have this friend's collecting this. So what do? You give 10 and 10 and 10. The more you give to different places, even though you're giving less money, but for your own soul's development, it's good to give to this person and to that person, because you're doing the mitzvah again and again and again. Also, Rabbi Nachman used to do this with charity when he was young. He would take a penny and a ruble, I don't know what money they had in those days, and he would break it into small coins. Like, let's say, for example, 10 shekel. See, he would break it into a 10 shekel coin here in Israel. He would break it into 10 1 shekel coins. Then he would take each of those 1 shekel coins and break it into a half shekel, 2 half shekels. So now he has 20 half shekels. It's the same 10 shekel value, but it's in 20 different coins. And then he would give a coin to charity that he would put in the tzedakah box. And a little bit later, another coin. At the end of the day, he gave that same 10 shekel, but he gave it so many times that it reinforced charitability in him. That's what he tells us to do. The Rav, the Yanuka, wrote a remarkable prayer for this time. It's a very, very long prayer. That's why I didn't send it to you. It's very long. It's full of Kabbalah. It's hard Hebrew. It's almost impossible to translate. It's not like his other prayers where it's simple words and it's a simple idea. This prayer, which he himself said, is very, very important to say. And it takes me about 20 minutes to say it. And actually, there's a recording of him saying it, and sometimes I say it with him on the recording. It's a remarkable prayer. But he talks about the next pasuk. He quotes from the whole prayer is like psukim and quotations, and it's unbelievable tefillah. It's an amazing, amazing tefillah. And here he quotes from this, because he says when Mashiach comes, what will we be doing? It's not going to be we're just going to be sitting around relaxing. It's going to be that all day long we're going to be talking about Hashem's miracles, this miracle and that miracle and this wonder and this awesomeness. Just like now, you're getting so many. I'm sure you're getting so many clips of this soldier has a story and that soldier has a story and this mother has a story and everybody has a story. This girl who I was just at her funeral, she was in the kibbutz. She was in the south. She lives here. She serves here in Yerushalayim, in the old city. Where was she for Simchas Torah when the war broke out? She was in the south by the kibbutz Sad. Now you know that kibbutz Sad, which is Shomer Shabbos kibbutz, and there were 2 kibbutzim that were not touched. They couldn't get in, and they ran away in frustration, and nobody was lost. Kibbutz Sad, and I forgot the other one. Their gates were closed. They sealed off for Shabbos, and nobody was touched. And that's where she was. She was mamish there when the war broke out. So, but because she's a bodedet, that means she's a lone soldier. So they gave her an adopted family. They gave her a family who took her in. That's what happens here in Israel. When you come as a lone soldier, you have a choice of being assigned a family. The families, of course, choose to be volunteer then. And so she had her adopted family in Kibbutz Sad, and that's where she was for Simchas Torah when the whole war broke out. And she was on leave because her job, her duty is here in Yerushalayim by the old city. So she was on leave for Yom Tov for Chag. and she was in Kibbutz Sad. And when I heard what was going on, the Rav, or the head of security of Kibbutz Sad, was one of the Maspidim. He was one of the ones who gave a eulogy for her at her funeral, which I just came from. So he said that in the morning when it all happened, in the beginning, no one knew what was going on. There were no communications. No one had any idea what was happening. But once they started understanding that something was going on, this girl, who was on vacation and she wasn't part of that kibbutz, she ran to the head of the security and she said she's a soldier and she's ready to help. Like, what should she do? So first he said to her, he checked her credentials and he checked with the family, the adopted family, to ensure that indeed it's true. Then he said to her, okay, put on your uniform so that nobody should bother you, and bring your gun and we'll give you work to do. In the end, she didn't have to do anything because Saad stayed there. They stayed, closed, and nobody was hurt. So here she had that amazing story to say that she was on Shmini Atzeres in the middle of the whole South, and all these kibbutzim, and she was saved. I'm sure she was saying that miracle story for the 2.5 weeks until she was killed in the old city. So you see, it's a funny thing about, they say every bullet has a address, right? Her desire was to help and to serve the Jewish people. And Hashem said, okay, I see you really want to do that. They say, the Gemara says that I'm sure you know this also, that the place in Gan Eden where people who die al Kiddush Hashem, and there's different levels of dying al Kiddush Hashem. There's a level of dying al Kiddush Hashem when you are just killed because you're a Jew. Lower lane, when that shouldn't happen anymore to anybody. And there's a level of Kiddush Hashem when you're killed defending other Jews. That's a much higher level. That's the place we see at. Okay, so here's the pasuk that's going to tell us what we're going to be doing when Mashiach comes. V'yodu shamayim kilacha Hashem. The heavens are going to talk about your wonders, your wondrousness, your miracles, Hashem. Af emunatcha bikal kedoshim. And also they'll talk about your faithfulness, your emunah, your keeping your word. We'll talk about that in our groups of holy people. That means hear us. We're going to all unmute ourselves and everyone's going to talk about how Hashem saved them. That's what we're going to be doing in the beginning when Mashiach comes. We're going to all have our stories to tell about how God saved us and how he inspired us and put us in this particular place, in this particular time, to listen to this particular Devar Torah, and to meet this particular person. That's going to be what we're going to be saying. Now, what does it mean? The heavens are going to talk about the wonders of Hashem. So the heavens talk. So Perek Shira says, yes, the heavens talk, we just don't hear it. But Chazal tell us something else. Right now, let's say, for example, I'll tell you what happened this morning. This morning I woke up early. I was privileged to daven with the Nates, with the sunrise. The sunrise now in Yerushalayim HaKodesh today was 6:01, and we began Shemona Esrei a few minutes before. And when I looked out before the sunrise, it was still gray out. The moon was right there. There was a moon right in front of exactly right in front of my window was the moon in the sky. And we don't have, I don't know if you ever noticed, I don't know what your skies are like in the UK, I forgot already. But here in Eretz Yisrael, every single day during the day, I say this all the time, I've been noticing this for 23 years. Every single day during the day, you can see the moon at some place in the sky. And if you know how to read the weather report, because in the weather report it says when moon rise is, when moon set is, where the moon rises and what part of the sky. You could just look for it. You all know our Yerushalayim sky is absolutely gorgeous and clear. In the morning it's a little bit cloudy these days, but there was the moon. So do we pay attention to the sky? So Chazal tell us that when Mashiach comes, we're going to start analyzing all of science and all of astronomy and all of the greatness. That's what it means. The sky is praising you. We people are going to start looking at the sky and how Hashem arranged it all, and how everything is perfect, and how nothing bumps into each other. Did you ever, when you were a little kid, or you had to make for your children, the solar system, and you took thread and you took these little ballies and you hung them up in a diagram, what was that was called? I forgot. Like to make a puppet thing, like, and all these things are bumping into each other, and so you get all this, and the strings are all interconnected. And when we make a solar system out of balls of balls and string, everything bumps into each other. When Hashem makes a solar system with trillions upon trillions upon trillions of things in the sky, and nothing interferes with anything else, not just that, but according to scientists, we're not going to know till Mashiach comes if this is true, but according to scientists, the stars that we see currently have already blown up and have been dead for thousands of years or hundreds of years, or I don't know how long. That's what they say, that the specks of star that we see in the sky now are from the sunlight, or the light of them is ancient. It's coming to us because it's so far away. It takes light a long time to travel. That's what they say. I don't know if that's true. Only Mashiach will tell us when that's true or not. Right now, everything is speculation. But when Mashiach comes, we're going to praise Hashem. And we're going to see how he was really faithful. And everything he did to us was absolutely perfect. Now we don't see that. Now we have to believe it. When Mashiach comes, we're going to see every event in our life and how it was perfectly suited for the fixing of our soul. And the more we fix our soul on our own the more we fix our soul proactively, the less we need Hashem to fix it for us. Kimi v'shachak yaroch l'Hashem. Who in the heavens? The word shachak is one of the levels of sky. There are 7 levels of sky, paralleling the 7 Sephiroth, paralleling the 7 days of the week, paralleling the 7 planets that surround the world, including sun and moon. One of the words of the sky is called shachak. Kimi v'shachak yaroch l'Hashem. Who in any of the heavens could be even compared to Hashem? Yidmel Hashem. Who can ever even compare to Hashem? Bivnei Elim. The Bnei Elim are the angels. Now listen, ladies, if we would see an angel, if we would see the physicality of an angel, we would be sure that that's God. The angel is nothing compared to the soul that resides within us. But if we would see the power of the angels, the physicality of them, Avraham Avinu, when he saw angels, they were in bodies, and he didn't see their luminousness. He just saw, because they concealed it in a body. We are stronger than that, meaning our soul is stronger and bigger and more godly than an angel. But we don't see it because it's really, really hidden from us. That's what Hashem doesn't let us see. Only tzaddikim see souls. I'm not a tzaddik who sees souls. I would like to be one day. But today, when I was by that funeral, and I was just with every type of Jew, and all of us we all say, Achenu, Achenu. We're all brothers and sisters, and we're all trying so hard. It's not easy to uproot if you've been conditioned to be suspicious of religious people or to not dislike religious people for your whole life. It's not easy in one war to just flip over to, okay, now I love you. It's hard. It's a hard transition that people are having right now. And people are trying very hard. And you know what? The religious people who have been like, I don't want to be your friend because you're not religious, we're having a hard transition also to saying, I need to see the good in you because you have a powerful Jewish soul. And this girl, just because I want to share with you here at Eretz Yisrael. So this girl had actually 2 adopted families. That's what one of the speakers said. And she had an adopted family in that kibbutz Sad, which was a Shomer Mitzvah's family. And then, I forgot where the lady said she was from, she adopted another family, and this family was not religious. And the woman who was the mother of that family spoke. And the girl who passed was religious. She was a religious girl. Shomer Mitzvahs, Shomer Kashrus, Shabbos, etc. And this lady who spoke, who said she feels like she's also her adopted mom. She said about how when this girl adopted them, I don't know how that happened, adopted, I'm saying that in quotations, when she befriended them, when she decided that she's going to become part of their family, knowing that they were not observant, she taught them. She taught them. So the woman said that she learned how to keep kosher. She learned how to keep vegetarian kosher. This girl was so smart that she didn't just say she's kosher. Because, that could be I eat this kind of meat and I don't eat that kind of meat. So instead, she just became vegetarian or vegan. I forgot what, Tivoni, I forgot what she said. She's vegan or vegetarian. And that way she, nowadays it's very easy to keep kosher. You just say that you're vegan or a vegetarian or whatever, and nobody questions you if you say you're kosher. People lift an eyebrow and say, really? People in olden days, not now, because now we're all unifying. But people in olden days would say that's primitive. Chas v'shalom. Nowadays, no one's saying that. Nowadays, I'm sure you heard, and I like to say as much good as I can about all Jews. Nowadays, how many people and how many restaurants in Tel Aviv kosher their premises so that the army would accept food from them because the army is officially kosher. And so they had to bring in army rabbis to, certify that these unkosher restaurants were kosher. And how many did that? So many restaurants in Tel Aviv did that. And so many personal people, private people did that. Just to make sure that you'll eat my food, I'll keep kosher. Or I'll make kosher. Or I'll buy everything new. So an angel is an awesome power. The Chavetz Chaim in his book Shmiras HaLashon talks about that if we would see angels, they're from he talks about their size. I don't think this is really measurable, but he said they're from the planet Earth, millions of miles high. That's how tall angels are, and the radiance of them. But that's nothing compared to Hashem. But if we would see angels, we would think it's Hashem. And when angels look at us and they see our souls, which is hidden, they say, "Yeah, you're like Hashem." They all thought Adam Harishon was Hashem, but really there's nothing like Hashem. That's what the pasuk is saying. And when Mashiach comes, that will be one of our pastimes. We will be sitting around, and we will be talking about. We'll be sitting around playing. I don't know. What do you play? Mahjong? Do people play that still? I remember when I was a little girl, all the ladies who were retired would sit outside from the block. They would gather in someone's front yard, and they would all play Mahjong or one of those things it was like they had tiles and they had to put whatever it is. We're going to be sitting around and talking about or cooking together and just talking about Hashem's greatness. El Nairatz Besod Kedoshim Rabbi. We say this on Yantiv. Hashem is feared, but not feared. He's honored. He's awed in the hidden company of holy ones, of great rabbanim, of great tzaddikim. V'naral kol sfivad. That because I am so privileged. I haven't seen the Yinuk in a very long time. I hope next week there's a chasana. I hope I'll get to see him there, of one of his students. So sometimes he has when he talks about Hashem, sometimes he has on his face such a face of absolute wondrousness, awe. And sometimes he has on his face, I have a picture actually from Sukkot when he was doing the lulav, of such awe as if he was seeing Hashem. If we would see Hashem, we would faint. I mean, we don't see Hashem, but if we would see the whatever light that Hashem would let us see on the level that we're able to see and receive, we would be petrified. But not petrified in a negative way, but awestruck, absolutely jaw-dropping, heart-thumping, awestruck. That's his pasuk. Hashem, who gets awestruck by you? The kedoshim, the holy ones. those who are privy to your sodot, those who are privy to your secrets, the Mekubalim, the Kabbalists. Did you ever see a Mekubal make Kiddush? Did you ever see a Mekubal say a bracha? You probably never did. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, when everything clears up and you all come to visit and you'll all come for Shabbos, and maybe we'll be all the outside, we'll be able to watch the tzaddikim and how they make Kiddush, and you'll see how tzaddikim, every word. If any of you ever saw the Amshin of a Rebbe and how he shivers and shakes when he says Hashem's name. If you ever see how any of the tzaddikim, how they pale, they can't even eat because they're so in awe of Hashem. They say the story of the Rebbe Reb Zusha. We need his merit. That one time, I told you the story, that one time he didn't come to shul, to Shachris. And his brother, the Rebbe Reb Elimelech, got nervous, like, where's Zusha? Where's my little brother? I think the Zusha was the older one, actually. So after davening, he ran to his house to see, are you okay? And he sees that Reb Zusha's still in bed. So he said to him, Zusha, are you all right? And he said to him, like he came out of like a stupor. And then he jumped out of bed and he got dressed. So the Rebbe Amel said, what happened? What happened? And he said, I don't know. I began to say Moda Ani. And then I said, Lefanecha. Moda Ani, what am I? Lefanecha, and before you. Melech, the king. Chai, you're alive. Vikayam, and you're always. And I began to imagine Hashem, the Melech. And he's here. And he's always been here. And I began to think about it and meditate on it and imagine it and experience it and seeing the Kiseh covered, the throne of honor and all the heavens. And I just that's where I've been for the last hour. Did I miss Shacharis? When the tzaddikim, that's how they are. They're in a whole different mindset. We could be a little bit like that when we make a bracha. If you make a bracha slowly, if you say tefillah out loud slowly, that you could hear it, then you can come to a place of feeling Hashem's presence. When you feel Hashem's presence, don't you get scared a little bit? Don't you feel a little bit? We also feel love. Sometimes you feel, when you feel Hashem's presence, sometimes you feel love. Sometimes you feel tittering a little bit of trepidation. That's good. Okay, somebody mark down what pasuk we're holding by. We just finished Ches. Now we'll start Be'ezrat Hashem next week. Tes. We should come Be'ezrat Hashem to another week.
Can I just add that this was also sponsored the Ilun Nishmas Naftali Ben Tzvi Yehuda, one of my friends in Tel Aviv, who hopefully is having a little bit of a change of heart of where her real place lies. And I actually thought, that I have chosen this share from the MS of Torah and the MS of Tehillim, that it should be an aliyah for her father, and it should be also as a chutz for her to be able to find the MS part of Torah and where we are as a Jewish nation, and to come back onto our side.
Do you see when you slow down how you move the gears down to slow the engine as well?
So thank you very much. I got the last bit, and I'll re-listen again today, but later when Anita gets it downloaded. But thank you.
Okay. Erase that Shulamit. Oh, that's right. Okay. 1 second. Now I'm reading all your messages. You gave up on me. Lisa, don't give up on me. Send me, I told you, send me.
No, I did. I sent 2 texts and 2 WhatsApps after we met.
Yeah. Let me see.
Here, I assume.
Don't send me text.
You were busy. I'll try again.
Let's see. Or just ask Rebbetzin Dov. Make sure that you get, I don't see any WhatsApps from you. And I don't see any.
All right, I'll try emailing.
Okay, email. KOLRENA @gmail. And in the if you don't mind, don't make it a long email
No.
and put in the thing who it's from, because sometimes it jumps into my spam if it's not like recognized. So right, from Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay,
Be
ladies.
well. Be well.
Good Shabbos. And
Thank you, and good Shabbos to everybody.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Thank
Only
you.
the
Good Shabbos.
Marcel, we'll see you in London.
It's not Hashem. Well, not me.
No,
Shabbos, and thank you
Marcel's
so
coming
much.
to London. Marcel's coming to London for Shabbos. And I'm also just going to add that if anybody who is London or Manchester and also would like one of Rabbi Goldstein's books to learn, please just be in touch with me.
I'll bring them back.
I have English and Hebrew. That's what I'm sending back with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I said on the chat, actually, I'm rubbish at chat, but anyone in Manchester who wants to bring cash, they can add it to mine, and I'll bring it to your house, Motzei Shabbos, for
wonderful.
Anyone who wants to can just drop it off or collect it. I'll collect it from them.
Marcel, you bring it to my house, Motzei Shabbos?
Oh,
who knows? Who knows? We could be going together to take it to the river.
That really is the end goal. End goal. There's no question. No question.
Very soon.
Watch this space.
Watch the space. We've got the tambourines ready, and we're going to be doing more tambourine painting.
But only in Israel.
Shabbos. Good Shabbos, and thank you so much. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Haley, I'll try to find it and send it. I don't know. I'm not on your WhatsApp group. I should become on your.
You know what? We actually don't have a WhatsApp group of this. I send out to a lot of groups because we've never made one full WhatsApp group of just this share. I maybe should try and do that, but because I just send it out to all my share groups and different things, and I just do that each week. So maybe we should try and do. I just don't want anybody who's outside of that didn't join in to miss out. So I will try maybe try and do one. I can take a picture. I'll get a picture of all the participants and try and add everybody in. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to try to find that article, Haley. I'm going to try to find the article and I'll send it to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebbetzin. Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. Good Shabbos.
Amazing.